have you been following the racing, and what's your kind of analysis of what's happened on the bike?
Yeah, I've definitely watched the Tour this year. It nearly kills me to watch it, but I have to. I love the sport, and it's interesting to watch. It's been a really different Tour, and it's hard for me to recognize it actually, because the first week looked pretty normal. It looked very aggressive and dangerous, and there were some hard stages. And once they hit the mountains, it was really a different Tour. I think it was everyone was playing a very defensive role. At times they were going up to the final climb looked very slow. Some riders they just wouldn't let each other go anywhere, so it was tactically much different. And then in the last week, you've seen that CSC is extremely strong, especially Andy Schleck. He's been amazing. I think he's the strongest rider in the race right now, which says a lot for him in the future. I think he's a future Tour winner for sure.
A couple of people had questions about how you think the Tour would be playing out differently if Astana was there. And I'll ignore that.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that we definitely have the strongest team in the world when it comes to controlling a race, a stage race like the Tour de France. So with Alberto especially, in my opinion, he's the best rider in the world.
Sorry about that, folks.
And I think that it would have been a big battle between CSC and Astana for sure. But in the end, Alberto's the best rider, and he's kind of the ringer. So I'm pretty confident we would have been able to win the Tour.
Yeah. For next year, looking ahead and assuming Astana's invited, does it look like it'll be a similar 9 guys next year that would have started this year for you?
That's interesting. I don't know. I'm sure that there will be some changes next year, some new riders coming. For sure, it's going to be a strong team, and I think the most interesting part of it all is the fact that we were left out this year. It's going to make a great story next year, and now that I see that, I'm thinking, well, maybe SO had that in mind all along. It really, I think, could generate a lot of interest. The team that was left out with the Tour champion comes back to challenge the new Tour champion, whoever that might be. But
so that's kind of a conspiracy theory there.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I was thinking about that, and it kind of dawned on me maybe they had that in their minds when they made the decision.
Stranger things have happened in bike racing.
Yeah.
So, what's the given that you haven't been at the Tour or Paris-Nice, Liège-Bastogne-Liège, which actually brings up another question, but what's the response been like at races that you have been at so far?
Really good. I mean, for sure, has been no negative response from the fans or the race organizers. I think they're happy that, like for the Giro, for example, I mean, it really worked out well for them because we brought our best team. Alberto, the Tour champion, wins the Giro, and like I said, it's playing out to be a big story and a big setup for next year.
So I guess thinking about the rest of this year and into next year, we had a bunch of questions along the lines of, will you be doing this race? So let me just go through a little list and you can say yes or no. So this year's Volta is
yes.
The Tour of Missouri.
No, conflicts.
Okay. Any local races in Northern California?
No, not anymore.
Spring Classics next year?
No, that's not my thing.
All right, well, there you have it. For those of you that wanted to know what Levi's plans were for those events. So